before, some questions that might be on your head at this time. So you've gone through 2.5 days of training so far. There's been a lot of information you guys have been thrown at you, I should say. And so now is an opportunity to say, okay, how does this really work when you're on campus? How do you put it all together, and how do you make it happen? So these 4 individuals, actually 5 if we're talking about Brandon, have been success leaders. They were success leaders last year. We have a few returning student success leaders in the audience today as well. Janita's over there. Leslie's over here. Am I missing somebody else? Awesome. Okay, so there's a few vets in the room, but you guys are all new to this. And some of you guys came through the program and some not. So there's probably some questions that you have, but I'll leave it to Brandon to facilitate our session.
Hello everybody, my name is Brandon. Let me start off with a little bit about myself. I just finished my 2nd year at the MCC. I just transferred to Lehman College and I'm studying business administration. My concentration is in marketing. I've been at SSL for the past year. And the reason why I became an SSL was because I know how frustrating the first year can be, and there's a lot of questions and students need a lot of help. So I just wanted to help people, not only that, but for me to be more involved on campus. And the purpose of this panel is for experienced SSLs to share their experiences, their tips, to better help you throughout your year as being an SSL. So I'm going to start off with Nikita and work our way down with introductions.
Hi, my name is Nikita.
Louder.
Hi, Nikita.
My name is Nikita Bennett.
What else am I saying?
Is your campus,
I go to PMCC, as you can see.
your year,
This is my 2nd year.
major,
Nursing.
and the reason you became an SSL.
Because when I came into college, my first year was pretty easy. Like most kids complain, but I was at home in college, so I had my advisor there. So any problem I had to actually go to her. So I'm like, why don't I be like a person to help others? Because my friends would complain, so they don't know what the benefit office is, or they can't find your classes. And so I had friends who were in PMCC, so I had help. So I'm like, I could be that person like to help others.
My name is Deirdre Williams. I go to City Tech. I'm going in my junior year. My major is civil engineering. And the reason why I became an SSL is I would really like to help others, and I would like to see people struggle. So I want to just help and make life easier for people.
Guys, we can't hear you.
You can't hear
We need to project. And for the record, I know all of you guys, you talk a lot louder than what you're doing right now. So, louder.
So, try to talk so I can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hi, my name is Maria Santana. I'm a student success leader. I come from Hostos. I'm a criminal justice major. I'll be graduating next year. And the reason why I wanted to become a student success leader was because I wanted to be involved more on campus, and I wanted to provide my assistance to people, who struggled with their first semester.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jeremiah. I come from BMCC, but I'm starting Buff State next week. I'm entering my 3rd year, and I'm also a criminal justice major with a minor in intelligence analysis. And the reason I became an SSL is to be a tool for students who didn't have any tools to help them transition into college. That was the ultimate purpose.
So I'm going to start off with some questions that I thought you guys would ask, and then I'm going to open up the floor.
What?
Then I'm going to open up the floor for everyone else to ask their questions. So the first question is, what are 2 successes you had last year, or cool things that you did? 2 things that you did.
Anyone can answer.
Don't answer all at once.
I can say for the most part, I'm a very shy person, and having to facilitate workshops with my supervisor and my coworkers, it really took me out of that comfort zone. So that's one thing that's really great about last year. And also, interested in going to a SUNY school. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Binghamton.
Yeah.
And like my supervisor, she's trying to push me to go to Albany. So, I actually took a trip down to Binghamton, and there's 2 other colleges that I want to visit, but having to go to Binghamton was an awesome experience.
One cool thing I did last year within the program, it was like organizing the events, the fun events that we wanted like all the kids to participate and meet new kids. So it was like fun when you actually see it all come together and people who never met before, they're just having fun and being cool, like they've been friends since birth. I thought that was like very cool. Another thing, I'll get back to you.
Okay, I thought of one.
You know what I'm gonna say. Scream!
Okay, so one of my success was helping one of my students. She was having difficulty in class, so I actually brought her to the professor. And that was like my first time, because I don't really go to my professors, because I normally get the work and stuff. So it was like cool going to another professor and just like helping her, making like her plan for, so like to get a better grade in the class, so what you're gonna do, her steps, step by step. So that was, you know, the success. She passed the class.
A success that I had was being able to help students throughout their first year despite all the challenges they went through, and seeing them actually finish their first year despite the thoughts of dropping out. And a cool thing was basically conducting workshops and leading it the way we wanted to, as long as we covered the topic. So that means we could have as much fun as we wanted to, which we did at BMCC, and you know, we got across. We got our points across.
One success that I had was 2 students on my caseload actually are SSLs in the room this year. So.
Nice.
That was my success. You got another one?
As she was saying hers, I thought about last year when we just started this, and Jamal did a workshop like to communicate with the students, and if they gave one worded answer, and the goal was to break through, get a breakthrough with them. I had one of that student, and it was like she didn't want to speak to me. I called her, I was like, okay, all right, I'll see you whenever, bye. But like the more she see I was there for her, she opened up, and I was able to help her like extremely a lot. So I thought that was like one good and good luck thing I had.
Second question is, what are 2 challenges you faced last year?
Okay, when the students, like, first you don't know how they look, so you're like walking past them in the hallway, you don't know who they are. And then the second one is like when you email them and you text them and you see that they read the text but they don't answer, you're like, what did I do wrong? Like, so that was like the challenge. No response.
I can also agree with you. I would call students frequently, and it was really hard to get in contact with them. So that was one thing. That was a challenge for me last year. The second thing.
What?
Speak up, it's not a big.
I was
There's something for you guys that can't see. There's a vent right here that says. Show me yours.
Okay, so I was saying one difficulty that I had, that I faced last year, was having to reach out to students and not getting calls back or response to emails. That was the most difficult.
I think that's the challenge in general, like just keep calling and they're not returning. To get the students to come out is really a big challenge, honestly.
On top of communication, because communication is a problem, and it will be a problem for you guys, just so you guys know. There was, for BMCC, we had a lack of resources, little bit of resources, space, and not being able to do certain things because Strive for Success is a new program. So, you know, politics prevented certain things from us being able to do them. But so that was also a challenge that we dealt with.
The third question is, how do you manage being an SSL and doing well in your classes?
That's a good one.
So ultimately, the first and hopefully most obvious thing is creating a schedule. Create a schedule. It doesn't only have to be for SSLs, it's school, SSLs, home life. That's immediately the first thing that you guys should do. And the second thing you guys should do is use a wonderful word called help. Being an SSL, you guys gain an SSL family along with your coordinator, and ask for help. If you're struggling, there's a day you're struggling, ask for help. There'll be no problem with them giving it to you, and you return the favor if somebody else needs help. So use that word a lot if you need it.
That's it.
It was hard. Honestly, it was hard. Especially the first semester, it was like me. I was just running because we didn't have a big enough office to meet with students, so it was like hard. I have to be running back from buildings, and City Tech has like about 4 or 5 different buildings, and they're like spaced out. So I have to run to B building, to M building, to NAM, and it was like an exercise. It was really an exercise, and I was like, and then you're tired. By the time you reach class, you're out of breath, and like end up falling asleep or something. I didn't do that, but it was really tired.
Say time management is most important, because you have to know exactly how to manage your time effectively to get things done, especially if you're a student and managing to help someone else who is also a student who has responsibilities.
What?
I'm saying time management is most important. It's the key, because you have to set a specific time for yourself and time for someone else who is in need of assistance.
All right, number 4. How far should an SSL go with helping a student? What would be the limit?
I would say helping them in anything that they need help with. The limit is putting that professional boundary. You have to have that boundary between, your students. Know your relationship with your student. Don't ever try to cross that line.
The only thing I could think of is I love math, so I did math workshops. I could help the student, to understand the problem, but you're not going to come to me and expect me to do your work. You're not going to learn. So that's the only thing that comes to mind with this question. That's the limit, is I'm not going to do your work. You have to learn it yourself.
The way I understood this question is in relation to outreach. So I say after a month of direct outreach, that means continuously throughout the week, not just one time a week. That's when you bring it back, and you contact them once a month after that if they're not responding to you completely. But keep them in your mass emails and mass texts, because that's not extra work. You're not directly emailing them. So that way they know that you're still contacting them in some sort of way, and they will need you at the end of the semester. It always happens. For me, it happened at the end of the semester. Students that I did not communicate to throughout the semester replied to me at the end, asking for help. So always make sure you're contacting them every month, but you don't have to strain yourself constantly every week if they're not responding to you.
I would say like giving them money, because one of my students.
You give them money?
Yes.
She's my child. That's what I said. I was like, money.
I didn't, but she wanted money, so I was like, go over me. She will give like Metro card and stuff, because I can't give you out of my pocket stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so she asked you for money?
Like she was like, she wanted Metro card, and I'm like, so I'm not to buy it for you, but you can go to Ramik and then see what he says.
All right, number 5 is, did you ever meet with students off campus?
Yes. I mean, it's not really a problem. I wasn't that far off campus, but pretty much every college student's favorite spot is Starbucks. So straight to Starbucks, bought some caffeine, and had a meeting there. I did that like once or twice, but it's not a problem.
I went to Jamba Juice.
I didn't type one. I don't want to do that, but because I knew there was experience experience from another SSL from the fall. She went with a student to the museum. And so she took the student to the museum because she had that same class before and had that same assignment. And so the student didn't know where was the map, right? And how to do the work. So she's like, I'll go with you and I'll show you where it's at. They had that relationship already set up where they communicated often, and she told her what her homework was. So at that point, that she was working with her there, and it was at a legitimate spot. So that can also happen.
And it was a school related. It was a trip. But I also think, like, it's interesting you're saying Starbucks and Jamba Juice. Partly your students, in your case, so, you know, let's say I'm just using BMCC because we're here. They come to BMCC, they don't know the neighborhood around here. So, you know, there are some places that lots of BMCC students go to for cheaper food than what you just had. You know, where's the McDonald's? Where's the, you know, things like that. This is, your campus is a little bit bigger than just those buildings, but I think you want to keep it to the purposes to show them places that are kind of connected to campus. You're not taking them from BMCC for soul food in Harlem. It might be good, but that's not part of your job.
Okay. Number 6 is, did you ever have a student that you gave advice to, and did they listen? They didn't listen. How did it turn out, and how did you handle it?
Oh my gosh, I think this is like the whole semester, every one of them. Oh, well, not every one of them, like each semester, sorry. The past 2 semesters, like I tell them, a lot of my kids do not like math. And when I ran my tutoring workshop, they were busy or had class or work. So I tell them, all right, just set a schedule, do study, do something. Like, you gotta get that down. And most of them were remedial. Oh, they came at the end. Like, they didn't listen, and they came at the end trying to get everything done. I'm like, math is something you gotta work on. You better get it from the beginning, or so they didn't take my advice. I'm like, it affected them.
How did it affect them in the end?
Badly.
No, but
They have, most of them remedial, they got repeat, or different things happen. I don't really want to speak about it, it's personal for them.
Don't call them names, but what happened to the 2 that came in over the summer that needed additional help because they did not pass their remedial class?
Well, like, yeah, a lot of them failed, but they had they also had good GPAs, but a lot of them still failed. You know, you can't. Apparently, it's 2 times. You can't fail it 2 times, or something happens. So they had to write an appeal. We had to help them write an appeal to the VP. If they get approved, if not, they have to go to a partner school. It was just wow.
Because they were academically dismissed, isn't it? They cannot continue to go to the college because they failed this class twice that they could have gotten help from SSL with.
I had a student who, he was on academic probation. I had a student who was on academic probation in June, and he did not want to come back this semester. He stated that he wanted to go out to a different school. He wanted time for himself. And me and my supervisor, we were trying to help him to fill out the academic appeal so that he can get back into the school, you know, and start off fresh, and he can retake his classes because he failed all 4 classes. So if he would have complied and done exactly what was expected of him, he would have been attending postals this semester. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case.
A student did not listen to me, and I was very frustrated and angry because of the student not listening to me. That person was almost not allowed to come back to BMCC the following semester because it was paperwork related and financial aid related. So I took a step back, created an action plan, and we made it happen. I used all my available resources. So it turned out positive. That's how I handled it, but it's not always going to turn out positive. So if it doesn't go the way you want it to, just create an alternate plan that is also in the student's best interest so the students can still do something positive and just make it better.
You mentioned that the student made you angry.
Yes.
So, did you like curse the student out, hang up on it?
Oh, no. I'm not gonna curse a student out directly. I was cursing. In my head though, that's a different story. But I just had to take a step back because, you know, my ultimate purpose is to help students. So either way, I still gotta work with what I got. So it's not always gonna be easy, so I had to do what I had to do, and I made it done. Yes?
Did you go for like help on what to do when that whole scenario happened, or you just already knew what to do?
No, I had the basics of what I had to do, but that's why I did use my resources. I did as in people and offices.
One thing, guys, I understand that this, because it's a conversational style, it'll be a little more relaxed. That is not conducive for you to play on your phone. So everyone put your phones away in your bags right now. Everyone who has a phone out, even if it's charging, put it in your bag. Put it in your bag. Move in the bag, It's on the desk. Your desk is not the bag. Or in a pocket, put it away, not in front of you. Let's take those few minutes, and I'm sorry guys, but I just had to call 3 people about it. Okay? Cool, continue.
Well, I'm gonna open the floor up now, so I need more questions.
What if you gave them advice and they decided to take it, but it ended out bad for them? You ever do that?
Follow the right procedures.
I'm like, don't blame me. No, I'm just I don't remember having a situation where I gave them advice and something bad came out of it.
I normally go to Ramik first. I talk with him first, and then I will have the student there, so he will like give them advice, but I give them advice, and then they listen to that.
Well, I was gonna say, if it's a situation where the student comes to you with a question, something that you're not too sure of, like go to your campus coordinator first, and discuss with them what the situation was, and then see what they tell you, and then go back and tell the student out. Therefore, you won't be put in that kind of situation.
So, Johnny.
Has there ever been a situation where fraternization occurred?
Fraternization.
Can you translate that to words?
Hazing. Pretty much.
Not hazing, someone's hazing.
In context, it's pretty much flirting.
Hold on a second. Are you asking if the student flirts with you or the SSL flirts?
The students try to fraternize with the SSLs.
Okay, thank you.
Like I said before, you have to maintain a professional attitude all the time. Make sure that you know there's a limit, there's a line that you cannot cross.
I had a student like that. I used to check with my house school time. He's like, well, you can text me besides schoolwork, But,
And what'd you write back?
I said, okay. I didn't write back anything. I said, all right. I don't know, but I guess, I don't know. I didn't entertain it.
Is it recommendable to have like office hours, and if they don't show up, like for example, to let them know from the beginning, I'm gonna be on, for example, every Tuesday between 10 to 2 in the library. If you have any questions, like for them students that can't commit to appointments.
Yeah.
You'd be able to do that?
Yes.
Besides the time that you're with the counselor.
Yes, actually at BMC we created a schedule in front of those places in front of our office, which had every SSL's name, and there are times that we would be there, free office to open office. So yes, definitely.
Also, like in most schools, we had business cards that we would give out to our students on our caseloads, so that they can have that information if they have an issue, they can come to speak to us at that designated hour that we were in our office.
What happens if the campus coordinator is not there and the student needs advice at that moment? Like, they can't have it any other time.
Did you guys hear that?
Student advice. That's what you said?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they need advice, but you don't have the answer, and the coordinator is not available, and they need it like at that moment.
You just I'll get back to you later. That was me like mostly because some questions I never heard of or they asked about departments I really don't know about. So you just say I'll find out the answer for you and get back to you later. Text it to them or email it to them or call and just tell them you'll let them know. You're not really sure at the moment.
At that moment, if it's a dire thing, like there's a deadline involved and they need the answer, you just take whatever the question is, whatever office it relates to. So if it relates to financial aid, you take them directly to the financial aid office. You can take them to these offices so you can make sure that that situation gets resolved if the coordinator is not there. Answer it to the best of your ability. If not, take them to an office that relates to the question.
I have a question. Okay, before I have one question. Besides Binet, so you guys, you're doing the SSL this semester again or only you? Okay. Okay, I have that question for you. Okay, if you have opportunity to do the SSL for one more semester, will you do it or not?
Me, without a doubt, I would definitely do it. This is a new program, so in new programs, it's always hard in new programs because nothing's set in stone. We don't get everything we want or need, but like I said, I grew to love this job throughout the year that I was here, so I would definitely do it.
I will also do it again one more.
Yeah, I would do it. I love the relationship I build with my students. I really did. And like seeing them, how like they said I was able to help them, this and that. I love that. So it was really good. I would do it again.
Sorry to add on to that, besides students, also your fellow SSLs. Like I said earlier, we built families. You're building a family now. Each SSL and your coordinator is going to be connections in the future in some sort of way that you don't realize. Ramik my coordinator has already helped me with stuff in Buffalo, and I'm not even in Buffalo yet. I go there next week. We're all different majors in BMCC. The SSLs are all different majors, so we're all going to be in the professional field that, oh, I need to go to the doctor. I already have a doctor. Or I have legal issues. Oh, let's go to the criminal justice major. You understand? So it's a family. So not only for the kid, not only for the students, for our fellow SSLs too. It's helpful.
What was it like setting up events for your caseload? What's that experience like?
So we had like the same paper that we had yesterday with the email and the Facebook, so we had to do all of that. So I guess everybody had like an event that you have to plan. So Brandon, for example, he had sports day, I had movie day, and Jeremiah, what you had? Yeah, so he had a party. So we had to like create this event in our head and just like write it down which day we wanted to be on, and then show it to Ramik, and then he try to get the place set.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say like, how do you go about like you said you had like sports day, like how do you like?
Yeah, any idea that you have that you want to do, just write it down because you know like I want it on paper, and then you will do it.
There's a planner that you're gonna get to create workshops. I don't know if you were handed that yet.
It's in your binder.
It's in your, so look through your binder because that binder is very useful. I still have my binder.
Yay!
Yeah, I gotta throw that out there. But everything, pretty much everything you need logistically is in your binder.
Okay.
But you'll have that sheet to plan on your workshop, and then when you complete the sheet, that's when you hand it to your coordinator, and we'll set it up.
Oh, cool. Okay.
But it's very fun. I guess the hardest part, setting up is not that hard if you have something that you definitely want to do. The hard part is getting your students there.
Yeah.
So that's the hard part. So your outreach, etc. Getting them there is the hard part.
And just so you know, your campus coordinators have a budget for the events, and so it's not unlimited, but they will say you have this amount of money so you can buy food or you can, you know, get a sports equipment or whatever it is. Like you're working with those parameters. You're not creating it and finding it and buying it. It's part of the program.
Okay.
Just to jump in that, can we talk about one of the events we had in Campus Danger? I think that was the last event, and what it's like when you plan an event and you're depending on your coworkers, the SSL to be there, and they don't show up or they don't do the things that you're expecting them to do. How does that feel, and you know how to work with that?
Basically like the last event we had, the end of summer, we did battle of the sexes, and like everybody was given a task. Mostly, it's not going to be all on you, even if it's your event. You're a group, teamwork, and like somebody had a situation where she wasn't able to come on time, but it wasn't told to me. So I'm like looking for her, and I'm like getting aggravated because I can't find her, and then eventually I just had to like move forward. But it is aggravating when you have a vision and it's not going through. Like it's like getting your major when you think you're going to this step, and the professor's like messing you up and just like getting aggravated. It's just like that. It's just a teamwork. So make sure like everybody's there, everybody knows what they're doing. Everybody just come together. If you're late, just let multiple people know. So it won't like get too much for you. Overwhelming.
One more question.
How is it being at SSL during like finals week or midterms week with your own personal studies? Like for example, you see how some professors, they'll have like tutoring groups that week prior to midterms or finals. So it's gonna take from your free time or your gaps in your schedule that you usually dedicate for working with the students for SSL. How will you be able to do that in that situation?
Midterms, well, I could speak for me personally. My major is hard but not hard. There's certain classes that you actually need to study for, and there's certain classes that you could just snap by. I had computer class where I just draw on applications. That wasn't nothing. It was with me with midterm and finals. I take at least 1 to 3 days or 2 days, and I told, depending on when the hardest class was, the day before, I do not schedule. I do not in work. I let my students know. And then finals week for us was like kind of optional because our coordinator knew we had to study for it, so she didn't really expect us. She said if we were coming in, just let her know. But most of the time, it wasn't mandatory. It's really optional.
To answer that, for me, preparing for finals is a pretty much 3-week in advance thing that you're supposed to do, personally. So about 3 weeks before your final, that's when you prepare yourself as an SSL. That's what you get your students into the mindset of, because you're only with them for the first year. Yeah, you can help them years previously, but they have to also learn how to do things on their own. So everybody in my major, I was helping them. Come study with me because we're learning the same things basically. Anybody else, set them up 3 weeks in advance, and you can just let them know they can come to you briefly during the week of, but they know that you're studying as well for finals. And also that's a time where you use your coordinator, your campus coordinator the most. My campus coordinator helped all of the SSL. He took care of a lot of issues during finals week while we were studying for our own things. So do as much as you can on your own, but like I said, ask for help. That's what your campus coordinator is there for. If they're not helping you, then that's a problem.
I just want to add to that. Your campus coordinator, first and foremost, you guys are all students, and we want you to be good students and do well. And we want you to build your GPA, and it's all about communication. Your campus coordinator is going to ask you what your final schedule is and how everything's going. You are going to have supervision with your campus coordinator one-on-one where you can talk about all of these issues. And during finals week, it's understood that you have a lot on your plate as well. So it all gets worked out, but just always remember first and foremost, communicate, and if you think you haven't communicated enough, contact them again and make sure you communicate. So just remember, we have your back. Also, it's not only about the program and the new students, it's also about making sure that you guys are doing well academically.
Because if you're not doing well, then you can't be a leader.
So I want to thank the panelists for participating in the panel with us today.
And a shout out to Brandon for facilitating. Okay, so we are on a slight time crunch. We're going to transition now to the computer lab, which is on the 5th floor. Brandon, can you escort them down there? Do you know which one it is? Yes. Okay, so you're going to take all of your things with you, including your binders, and you're going to follow Brandon down to 553.